All right, everybody, let's make sure that this is actually going through on the thing. Looks like I'm live. Good. Well, we'll plug in here and everybody will get checked in just a minute. Um, Tonight we are going to be working. Let me pull up the list because I'll goof it up. Tonight we are going to be we're going to be reviewing Frère, Jacques, which is the most important song in the program. And then we are going to take a look at the key of A Strummers. Now, I posted new versions of that. I used to have these little booklets you could fold up. Nobody could ever figure out how to print them out. And so I've posted vertical ones of those, and they are just regular 8.5 by 11 paper, so those are a little easier to deal with in your binders or on your iPad. The little booklets I'll just use for classes to hand out in. We're also going to replay Sakura Sakura, which we had a ton of fun going through that. It's pretty high level playing for book 2, and so let's see how things go this week. And then we'll take a look at Drunken Sailor because we want to talk about transposing. That's a kind of, since it's kind of a sing-songy, strummy kind of evening, I want to make sure that you have a few tools in your quiver is it arrows in your quiver? What's the thing? Anyway, we want to make sure that you have what you need in the event that you need to transpose the song into another key. So first off, what time is it? It's 7:01. Let's go ahead and just get started. People may kind of wander in and say, hey, sometimes people don't come by. Most of the time people come by, but not all of them log in. So that's cool. Let's see. We're going to start with, let's start with ukulele. And the hardest part of ukulele is getting the strap figured out. Let's see. This looks like I gotta go this way. I think I gotta go the other direction. And then I gotta, let's see. That's better, maybe? There we go. It's freezing here. Hey, Elizabeth. It's not as freezing as it is in Denver. Elizabeth has really been freezing up there. But it's pretty cold here. So I'm wearing this sweat jacket. And it's you're supposed to ignore that I look like a bomb went off. Hey, Monica, good to see you. Hey, we need to get together and guitar together. You should send me an email. I love that you're still doing it. So good to see you. No reason to hang out with ukulele players, though, right? All right, so let's talk about Frère Jacques. Let me go pull it up here in my book, ukulele, book 1. Scroll down, Frère Jacques, ukulele. All right. Yeah, drop me an email, Monica. That'd be delightful to chat. See where you're at, see what we can do together. All right, so we're going to be talking about other stuff tonight. Tonight we're just going to play Frère Jacques. And remember last week we talked about when you come down to fret 7, you have choices. The book, the old book says ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open. Okay, I'm going to be changing it to middle, pinky, middle, slide, middle, index, open, because I think it's a little bit more official and correct fingering. There's no such thing as correct in music. There's no such thing as correct in art, and there's no such thing as correct in ukulele, but there are better and worse, and I think that's better fingering. So let's play it together. We're going to play the song 2 times on ukulele. If you have a baritone on your lap, I want you to play your A chord that looks like this. Okay? You will be... Hey, Kelly. Yeah, once you log in, then it's the chat works. All right, here we go. From the top, I'm gonna open up my other. There's 2 windows I can look at. One has a time delay on it, and the other does not. And so if I put them side by side, I can still see everything, and I know what I'm doing. All right, from the top. Baritone players, you play your A chord that looks like that, okay? And everybody, and ukulele players, you're playing melody. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, hold it. 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string from the top. Second ending written. When you have a chord at the end, just hold the chord. Don't let it go. Just let the ukulele ring out, because the audience is going to be going wild at that moment, and I want them to get the full effect of you being just amazing. I gotta turn off the sound on this thing. And if you want baritone, how'd you do? Did you keep up with the steady pace? I hope so. I'm wearing a hat because my hair is not good. I gotta go get a haircut. All right, baritones. Now things get interesting. Okay, some of you are not playing baritone. Some of you only have a ukulele. Okay, and so on ukulele, you have to play an E chord in order for it to make sense with the baritone. So your shape is going to be a bar. This is your first bar chord, right? First lesson, first bar chord. You're like, wait, what? I'm not ready for that. No, you're not ready for that, but you're going to do it anyway because you'll be fine. This is your bar, okay? Don't use any other fingers for your bar. A lot of times I see people doing this. Don't do that, okay? Index finger on bar on fret number 4. Bam. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where that's where your chord goes. Your pinky is going to go up on number 7. Okay? Pinky's up on number 7. Okay? And this is just ukulele players. So for ukulele players now, you guys are going to be playing this lovely bar chord. Bar on 4, pinky on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to play that exact thing all the way until the very end. At the very end, in the last measure, you're only going to do it 3 times. Other than that, every single measure, just the same thing. Don't get fancy yet. We're going to learn this. We're going to start working on a little strumming stuff tonight, and you'll get fancy then. Okay. The baritone players, you're going to play the melody. Okay. They're playing chords. You're going to sound amazing in their house. At your house, you're just playing the melody, so you won't know how awesome you sound. From the top, baritones, melody, ukuleles, E chord. 1, 2, ready, go. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh. First string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string from the top. We let it ring, If you're on ukulele, you go clank, right? Yeah, it goes really, really. Ukulele, it turns off so fast when you're doing a bar chord that sometimes, especially when you're doing it, goes bonk, and you're like, ugh, I don't like that sound. That's why we hold the chord as long as possible. All right, we played it ukulele version and baritone version of Frère Jacques. Super, super exciting. Okay, now let's take a look at the next thing on our list to do tonight. We're going to look at the key of A Strummers, and they're both in ukulele and baritone. And so what I want to do is we're going to use, because most people have ukuleles, we're going to talk ukuleles, and then the same stuff applies to baritone. So when you are on baritone, and we're trying to play together, I will give you a different set of chords. No, we won't. They're all in A. They're all in A. You're fine. We're going to play together. Why did I put up two? Oh, I know why I put up two separate versions. So if you're on baritone, look at the baritone sheet music, and if you're on ukulele, look at the ukulele music. And I did post. If you have the old booklet that you have to fold up that's in half, you want the new version that's on the website right now, so you can click that up and pull that up in another screen or whatever, but I redid those this week real fast, and so I wanted to make sure that you guys have the latest ones. Okay, so we're going to put up, let's see, so we'll do some baritone and some ukulele tonight. It'll be fun, you'll see. Okay, so there's the strummers for ukulele, and then here's the strummers for baritone. Ta-dum. Okay, so strumming. All right, the entire internet is full of websites dedicated to singing and strumming the ukulele. 99% of the instruction out there, that's all they cover. It's not that it's not important, but it's not near as important as you will find in as you become a real trained musician. And so there are only a handful of things we're going to talk about, and then they apply to all strumming and singing. The first thing is I got to get you good at doing the basics, right? So I'm going to put a baritone on, but if you're on ukulele, just stay on ukulele. Okay. First, on ukulele, you're going to make an A chord. Index finger there, middle finger there. Okay, and that's the same chord that you made in your same chord you made on Frère Jacques, right? Okay, so that's your A chord. Okay, baritones, you're going to be doing 1, 2, and 3. Just shove them all in that window like that. I'm just trying to get my screens up here again properly. Then that's it. Don't go any further than that. Just get your A chord on. If you're on baritone, do this A chord. If you're on ukulele, do that A chord. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Don't think ahead. Okay? We're going to do Frère Jacques together at the same time. Okay? I'm going to play the A chord on baritone, but if you're on ukulele, you're playing this A chord. I'm going to do it thumb down, and here's the key. When you're singing and strumming, your right hand is the most important part. This hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it simple. Go. 1, 2, ready, go. Are you sleeping? That's my first note. Are you asleep? Frère, I'm going to do it in French. I think I'll do better. Ready, go. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous. Sonnez les matines, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Okay, so this is where the music is coming from. It just comes out in this order, right? So if you're on ukulele, same thing applies. You're still creating an A chord. It's going to have this a little bit higher feeling to it, but it's just that. It's just a chord, and then this creates your rhythm that you then sing over the top of. Okay, so steady rhythm is the one of those keys. Is thumb down strumming? Yes. So thumb down, just thumb down, 3, 4. Right, I'm just using my thumb going down. Okay, we're going to make it fancier here. The next couple of things we're going to do are make it fancier. Starting now. So if we're strumming, and this people like, well, that's easy, right? right? That's nothing. It's everything because you're getting the rhythm in place with your thumb. Now let's switch to index finger. Your index finger, the nail is going to kind of face toward the ground, okay? And then when you come up, you're going to hit the pad of your finger. So A chord on, fingernail down toward the earth, come back up with your index finger like that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing. Ding, dang, dong. Ding, dang, dong. Okay. Key here is I did not change anything I'm doing rhythmically when I do, whether I was singing a long note or singing a short note. Nothing ever changed here, and that makes it super easy to sing over the top because I got a steady rhythm. Okay, when you first start strumming and singing, most people struggle with it because they're trying to do fancy stuff here. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. And you eventually will do that fancy stuff, but in the beginning, don't do that stuff. Just create a nice steady pace. And what will happen is once you get comfortable and you can feel the beat and it's steady and even, then you can start tossing in some fancies. Okay. Third way we're going to use our right hand, we're going to do it on 3 blind mice. Same chord. Take all 4 fingers, thumb, index, middle, ring, and grab each one. Just going to grab a string. So I'm going to hold this up here so you can see what I'm up to. Okay. Thumb on the top string above it. Okay. Middle finger underneath the 3rd string, middle finger underneath the 2nd string, ring finger underneath the 1st string. So above the string, under, under, under. And all 4 strings have a finger on it now. Okay, not 2 fingers on one, right? Don't do that. Just like that. Okay, and then you're just going to, once you get everybody on, pluck. Okay, pluck, 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 pluck. This is really hard in the beginning, by the way, so if you're struggling with it, you should be. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, put the chord on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind mice? Right, so again, I'm doing a new fancy thing over here, right? I'm plucking all the strings at once, but I'm not changing anything other than that. I'm just keeping the beat steady, and I'm singing over the top of that beat. Again, when you're new and you're learning your chords and you're learning how to sing over those chords, the key is right hand and keeping it even and steady and not doing fancy stuff in the beginning, okay? Down the road, you'll do all kinds of fancy stuff. Now, last fancy thing we'll do, and we can still do it on 3 blind mice. Remember how we did thumb, index, middle, ring, and we had it thumb above, and then index, middle, and ring. Those are all underneath their string. Okay. Now, what if I took? I'm gonna get this way up here so it's easy to see. That's probably the best right there. What if I do thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. Put your chord on. Thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they run. See how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as 3 blind lies. Thumb at the end. Okay, I guess the middle string and the third string is the best sound. So what you're working on now, you have 4 things to work on with strumming. Thumb down. Start every song with thumb down. That tells you where your beats are. Okay. Index finger up and down. I'm sorry, down and up. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Claw position. 4 fingers all at the same time. Clunk, 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 clunk. And claw position, each finger gets a note, gets a beat, or half of a beat probably. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you are a singer, these are going to be super valuable, super important to you for all of the times that you want to sing. I quite clearly am not a singer, but I find that all of those 4 patterns super handy. When I do have to sing, I also use those are the 4 main patterns I think of when I'm doing music arrangements for a solo piece or even for a large ensemble. Those are still the 4 main things that I ask players to play, right? Are we going to do nice, soft, beautiful downstrum? This comes up on an orchestra all the time. Are we going to do this kind of chord? Are we going to do this kind of chord? Are we going to do that kind of chord? Are we going to do that kind of chord? It's all the same chord, right? But it's how we attack with our right hand. So when you're thinking about chords and you see these dots and you're all like, oh, I got to learn all my chords. No, you do not. What you really need to do is master the right hand, and we'll get these shapes on. I don't worry about that. That's not a big deal. Okay. Row, row, row your boat. Okay, let's learn a new chord. Okay, and I'm going to put on the other ukulele because it's really, really fun on getting your D chord on. Okay, baritones. You already did your D chord, right? Dunk, 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 things like that. There's your D chord. Okay, index, middle, ring. Baritones. Do not put your middle finger up here, your index finger down here, and then your ring finger. That's upside down. Don't do that. Baritone. Index, middle, ring. Okay. Ukulele players, you know that better as your G chord. Okay. It's hard. It's a very challenging chord. Ukulele players, you're on D chord, which you've already seen me doing. It looks exactly like their A chord. Okay, index, middle, ring. This is how you know if you have the big enough ukulele. If your hands barely fit in that space, get the next size up. You should probably have a tenor ukulele, and you can see my fingers barely fit in there. And so if you're like me and you have either this size finger or fatter, it's really hard to get it all in there. And we use the word fat advisedly, right? They're just bigger around. Okay, so that's your D chord. Let's do row, row, row your boat. There's 3 verses, okay? So the first verse we're going to do thumb down. Second verse we're going to do index and do this, okay? And then the third verse we're going to do the pluck, 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 pluck. Ready? Row, row, row your boat. 1, 2. It's a little bit slower. 1, 2. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay, you're going to forget what these strumming ideas are, and that's why we record these videos. And also, just write thumb down, right? That's the first one. Second one is index finger up and down. Okay, let's do this next verse. 1, 2. Row, row, row your boat right across the lake. Don't stand up and rock the boat. Oh, that's a big mistake. Okay, again, very steady, not changing anything as we go through. And then finally, the plucking one. All 4 fingers, thumb, index, middle, ring. Everybody gets a string. Never use your pinky for anything. Okay, your pinky is mostly going to just end up being an anchor on the front of your ukulele. We'll talk in a separate video about anchoring because classical guitarists have ruined that for us. Okay, but mostly you're here. Okay, we'll take our advice from banjo players and anchor our pinky. Okay, plucking. Here we go. 1, 2. Row, row, row your boat underneath a stream. Ha ha, fooled you, it's a submarine. Kid taught me that in one of my summertime kids classes, and he was very passionate about it being the best verse. Okay, there's your D chord. Okay, and then you can do Farmer in the Dell. Farmer in the Dell has 10 verses. You get extra credit if you send me a video of you playing all 10 verses. All right, don't do that, but practice it, right? The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell, hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. Okay, and that's one to see how fast you can do it. And you can't do it as fast with your thumb. Farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell, hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. I saw Taylor Swift, I think I mentioned this last week. She's holding a guitar and she's singing away. She got her pick. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, her really like into it kind of thing. And up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then, of course, screaming into the microphone at the same time. Isn't modern music great? All right, the third chord I need you to know right off the bat is the E7. Okay, so E, index finger. So for ukulele, index finger on the top string, first fret, middle finger on the third string, second fret, and then ring finger on the first fret. So sorry, first string, second fret. Okay, it's always impossible to talk about. Okay, yeah, it sounds bad. Okay. Baritones, yours is a little easier. Okay, baritone you have to only use one finger. Everything's easier in baritone until it's not. Okay, so index finger just goes on the third string, first fret. Same weird sound, just lower, right? Again, reminder to those of you guys that are singers, baritone's your friend because it's going to be below your voice no matter what. Ukulele, if you're a female singer, you might get away with being able to sing up that high. But if you're an alto singer or a tenor singer or, God, for goodness sakes, a baritone like I am, the ukulele comes in higher than your voice is singing, and it can create a little bit of challenge. So you've got your E7 on, okay? This Lemon and Coconut song, it's just a silly little thing that I took off the internet and then noodled around with. Okay, we're not going to do the whole thing, but we're going to do this one first, just this one, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. My brother bought a coconut, he bought it for a dime. My sister had another one and spent it on a wine. Put the lime in the coconut. Now, so one of the things I tell people is you don't have to do this for the whole song, right? This might be a great place to change it. And so now let's do index finger down, up. 1, 2, 3. You put the lime in the coconut. Bring them both together. Put the lime in the coconut. Drink it all up. You put the lime in the coconut. And then you'll perk on up. Thumb down. Called the doctor, woke him up, and here is what I said. So you see what I'm doing? I'm doing plucking to start with, then index finger up and down, and then when I make that transition, just a big old down strum, right? Being goofy. The idea is you're going to get where you combine all of those forms of strumming together. Tell yourself again and again and again, it doesn't matter what's going on over here. Even if you're terrible at whatever the chord is, right? Let's say I'm trying to get a chord on and it sounds like this. Listen what happens. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. The wife takes the child, the wife takes the child. Hi-ho the dairy-o, the wife takes the child. And you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not what I signed up for ukulele to do. But if you go to Hawaii and you go to a luau, there will be a ukulele player there. And if you watch, about 80% of the time, they're playing rhythm and no notes, actually. They're just using this as a rhythm instrument. It's very common and very much a real way to play the ukulele. So if you don't like the sound that's coming out of this, just take all 4 fingers, lay it very gently over your strings, turn it into a percussion instrument, you'll be very happy with the results. Then it's just you and your beautiful singing voice, right? Some of you have great singing voices. Some of you have terrible singing voices. Those of you with terrible singing voices, you're here for the instrumental. Those of you with beautiful singing voices, you may or may not want to spend the rest of the time on Jolly Roger, because it's really, if you have a great singing voice, that sort of trumps a lot of the stuff we make this instrument do. If you want to become a decent musician, you should do all of this stuff. But a lot of times with singers, you don't really need to take ukulele lessons. You should be taking singing lessons. All right. Editorial comment aside, this week you have one job. I'm holding up two fingers because it's the 2-chord section. Notice on the front page here, all the songs have red. Okay, that means they have one song, one chord in them, and they're all red, and we cover them in class, and you don't ever have to look at them again. If you turn the page, your chords are up at the top of it, and now notice everything is green. Okay, and so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs that are green, and all of the green songs have A and E7 in them. Okay, and your job this week your whole job is to practice. Well, that's not true. You're going to play Frère Jacques again, because I want you to get smooth with getting those individual notes out. But I also want you to get really, really good at singing these songs. Not necessarily the singing part, but the strumming and changing chords part. Because on every single one of these songs, I'm double checking, I'm not lying to you. Every single one of these songs, you're going to have an A, ukulele A, going to ukulele E7, and back. So let's go down to London Bridges at the very bottom of page, with the second page of this. Okay, these don't have, I got to put page numbers on them. Okay, start with your A chord. We'll go slow. London Bridge is falling down. Now you're going to switch to E7. Bam. Okay, take a minute. I know it's taking you longer than me probably. And then go falling down. And then you're going to switch back to A. Falling down, London Bridge is falling down. Switch, my fair. Switch again, lady. Okay, so that was on ukulele, but you get the idea. Let me switch to baritone. We'll do a little bit more. So on ukulele, you got your A shape going to your E7 shape, and you're just going to get really good at that this week. Okay. Each of those songs, be experimental with this side hand. Does it sound better with a thumb down? Does it sound better with the index finger going up and down? Does it sound better with a claw? Am I going to get an A+ from the teacher by going thumb, index, middle, ring, thumb, index, middle, ring? Okay. Now, baritone, A chord, E7. Okay. Second verse of London Bridge is building up. Okay. 1, 2, ready, play. Build it up with silver and gold, silver and gold, whoops, silver and gold. Build it up with silver and gold, my fair lady. Okay, so you see what I'm doing, right? Just A chord, E7, A, E7, A, E7. So baritone, you got a little bit more work to get your A's on, but your E7 is pretty straightforward. Ukulele players, your A is pretty easy, but the E7 is kind of hard. Okay, the question comes up from time to time. I'm the only one who ever brings up the question, but if you go to all these other websites everywhere, they teach you the C chord first. Well, that's a mistake, because along with the C chord comes this horrible thing called the G chord, and it's really, I used to do that just because everybody else did it, and I realized that's not the way to start. You want to start with A, D, and E7, because your fingers, there's only one way to get those right. Okay, when you get to G chord, it is super easy to get it upside down, and then there's got this whole problem of fixing you. By the time we get to the G chord, you're going to not make that mistake. Okay, now, I was going to do one other thing. Give you a little example of this one. Okay, we're going to play the third verse of London Bridges, which I changed. I rewrote it because I didn't like the old one, and we're going to play it with, get your arpeggios going. And by the way, if you get to a chord change and you can't get to that chord change in time, just don't play while and you let me play it out, and then you jump back in on the A. Okay. Let's see. It's take the key and have some T is what I wrote. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take the key and have some tea. Change. Have some tea. Have some tea. Take the key and have some tea, my fair lady. Okay, and that's arpeggio plucking. So all of those are different levels of advanced, right? Thumb down is the easy one, index fingers next easy, plucking is next easy, and then arpeggio picking is the fourth easy, and then, or in depending on how new you are, is either hard, harder, hardest, and ridiculous, right? So let yourself be this week. Play Frère Jacques as your warm up, and then play the green headlines in this book. Because next week we'll go over the blue headlines, and one of you will remember to do that. If you're feeling sussy after doing all the green ones, not going to hurt you to peek ahead to the blue headlines. The blue headlines use three of the four chords. They use all three of the chords we covered tonight, and you'll see F sharp minor on ukulele is not much harder than the other chords, but on baritone it's way harder. so F sharp minor. There's only 2 songs I think in the book, in the back of the book. Kookaburra and Vive la Company that are going to use all 4 of the chords. Okay, so most of these are in the blue headlines. They're the 3 chord songs, and they're actually good songs. You know, it comes up from time to time. Why these old-fashioned songs? Why don't we put in cool, modern, super neat songs? Because everybody thinks there's a different brain for every super cool song. You might like Coldplay, you might hate Coldplay. You might like the Eagles, you might hate the Eagles. You might love Led Zeppelin, you might hate Led Zeppelin. You might love Cyndi Lauper, you might hate Cyndi Lauper. And all of those songs were created by a commercial enterprise to sell you stuff, and they are not the best way to learn how to make music. The best way is to take very simple songs that have very straightforward skills, learn those skills, and then you go chase down your Beyonce or whatever it is that you like, and all over the internet you'll find every single song has the lyrics and chords available. It's not hard to find those on the internet, and then you sing those. Most of my students, probably up to 80% of them, don't want to sing, and so we have plucking the melody and working a little bit in a different way to get our music out. Okay, so that's your job for the week, just the green headlines. If you want to pick ahead to the blue headlines, you can, because guess what we'll be doing next week is the blue headlines. Okay, key of A, strummers, and baritone, ukulele, doesn't matter. We're all going to play together. Okay, all right, that's the level 1 stuff. Always takes me longer than I wish it would. Let's play Sakura from last week. And we're going to play it slow, so that if you were here, great. If you weren't here, that's great. I first have to find it in my book 2. Slide down to Sakura. Where are the S's? Too much music. Did I not put it in the playlist? Book 2, right? Yeah. Yes, I didn't put it in my playlist. Ukulele, book 2. Go down to, put it in there. Sakura, ukulele. How come I didn't put the baritone one in? Let me grab the baritone one real quick. There we go. App. Hold on. Sorry, I thought this was already in my book, and I apologize. Baritone, Sakura. Patience. Oh, I played from the conductor score. That's why. Duh. Okay, now that makes sense. All right, so Sakura. Okay, we're going to go slow, and this is hard. Okay, so if you're new, please know you're not supposed to be able to play like this yet. If you've been around a while, I know Elizabeth, who's logged in early here, she's been around and she can play this stuff, right? Right now on tempo, if she hadn't necessarily rehearsed it, maybe not, right? But for sure she could. Okay, so I'm going to take the ukulele. I don't like what I'm doing here. I don't think that seems right. I'm going to go grab the individual versions because I think it'll be easier. I won't have to turn the page as much. And Baritone Sakura. All right. Let's share this with my software. I think. All right. I am doing ukulele version of Painful Sakura. Now, you don't have to do the painful version, right? You can do just the easy version and just play the melody, okay? So from the top, I'm going to do this little intro, but I'm going to do, guys, I'm really going to play slow. There's no point when we're online to play fast, okay? So from the beginning, ready, go. Okay, everybody. Sorry, measure 8. Measure 9. Let's go back to the top to measure 1 and let's play together. And if you're not playing, right, and you're just like, I don't know, that seems like too much, watch what's going on with my right hand. We just talked about thumb down, we talked about index finger, we talked about plucking, we talked about arpeggio picking. You'll see all of those techniques. This is a pretty advanced song. That's exactly what I'm doing, is that stuff. Didn't really plan it out, right, but that's where we're at. From the top, measure 1, that's where the repeat goes. 1, 2, it is in 4/4. 1, 2, ready, play. I need to start over from measure 1. I got it in my head that I missed a chord in measure 1 and then I couldn't get straight. All right, from the top again. From the top. 1, 2, ready, go. it to the end. Don't let off that. Okay, isn't that a pretty tune? It's really pretty challenging on that uke claw version of that to get all of the pieces and parts in the right place. Okay, so now if you were on baritone, you were obviously playing these chords. You probably know them. Maybe if you didn't, you're supposed to go look them up, right? If you've been on baritone a while, a good chance you haven't. If you don't know them, you got to go look them up. Okay, I have a chord finder on my ukulele or on my phone for chord finder. Right, used to consult it every single day, all day long. Eventually, I memorized everything, but that was years, right? And so make sure that you are giving yourself a little bit of comfort in that you don't have to know everything right now, but you're going to need a chord finder because it's going to come up. There are chords you don't know. All right. Is this in here? Okay. Baritone version, same exact thing. My thumb's dying. And so again, if you are on ukulele now, you're going to be playing A minor, E7, D minor. Okay, so we learned D chord today. Okay, but D minor is index, middle, and ring. So that, and when we get to that, you'll hear that sound. Your A minor is up here. You just have a two. You know how we made an A with index and middle? We just take this index finger up. So now you're gonna have A minor, E7, and D minor, which is sort of like the chords you just learned, except these are the sad versions of them. Okay. Baritone players, 2 times through, do the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Okay, give that a little vibrato. To the top. I'm sorry, from measure 7, wrong measure, looked at the wrong thing. Measure 7, 1, 2, ready, play. To So that's your goal, right? Play it better than I just played it. Make less mistakes than me. Or play it as well as you can play it and then make less mistakes than you made the time before. So there's Sakura Sakura. We'll move on from that. I'm going to be adding in a whole section of Asian themed music, and so we have a little section of that. It's one thing the website's definitely short on is Eastern music, and I'm going to be, I don't know it either, right? So I got to get online and learn about it and try to find some stuff out about it, and we'll get that together. Now, the last thing to talk about here is next week's book 2. Oh, it's Drunken Sailor, guys. Okay, so let's take a peek at it real quick, because it's just going to take a second to talk about it. Okay, so, and it's kind of a fun song to do. Get on my iPad just a second. All right, Drunken Sailor is an ensemble piece. In other words, it's made to be played by baritone and ukulele together at the same time. So that's what we're going to do next week. Now, if I'm now on page 2 of Drunken Sailor, notice that you have all of your chords in all of these different, and they're set up in pairs. Okay, so if I have a baritone and I'm going to play A minor and G, I'm going to play "What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor?" Okay, if I'm going to play those pairs, okay, or I might play it B minor A. I'm looking for the best one for my voice. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Okay, we'll play it that way. C minor. We won't play it on all these ways, but we will find. So maybe this week as you're goofing around with this, find your favorite chord pair and then come to class next week and be like, I'm going to do these chords. Okay, you got your C minor. What shall we do with a drunk? Whoops, let's finish this thought. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Yeah, I don't know about that one. The main sheet music is written in D minor, right, for ukulele, but it will work to hold the chords in baritone, D minor to C. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? I like it in D minor. Ukulele. Baritone, right? So, what shall we do? With a drunken sailor? Right? That would be this one. F minor, E flat. You need a bar chord. Okay? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? All of you should pay very close attention. Baritone chords, F minor and E flat. And then a really little teeny tiny writing next to the E flat chord. It says 3 FR, and that means third fret. Go back. Okay, so there's something going on with my sound system. I don't know what it is. I thought I'd fixed it. I thought it was this Windows update that happened, and it's not apparently. So I will dig into that a little bit deeper. I thought I had it fixed. I was super excited. Sustained low tone. So it should be. We're back. We're using a different microphone now, which is not as good. All right. So though, anyway, you get the point, right? Play Drunken Sailor with all of these different chords. Find your favorite. Next week, come in and say, let's play it in this chord key. Okay? Ukulele, you have exactly the same chords, but they just have different names. So your first one is A minor G. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. That feels very high to me. Let's try B minor A. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Pretty high. C minor B flat. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do? I don't mind that one singing-wise, but I don't like the way it lays out on the fretboard very well. Here's my favorite, D minor to C. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. I love that one. How about E minor and D? So E minor. Okay, this is reminds me of shoot, what was her name? What if God was one of us? Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way home, right? I forget who sang that song. But E minor, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? F minor to E flat, what shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Okay, that one's okay. G minor to F. It sounded pretty good on baritone. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? So try all those chord pairs out, find your favorite, and then next week when you come to Ukulele University, you will tell me which are your favorite chord pairs, and we'll sing them all in that way. You know, my voice is up, down, or all around, and being a very poor singer, it's a lot of work. Also notice on Drunken Sailor that you have a total of 18 verses that you can, if you don't want to do Drunken Sailor, shave his belly with a rusty razor, or put him in bed with the captain's daughter, or chuck him in the longboat until he's sober. So you can change out the words on all those. The second half is always the same. Hooray, and up she rises. That'll all be the same. The idea here is for you to sort of get comfortable with a whole bunch of chords at once. This is book 2, right? So we take the gloves off when it comes to chords, and we want to give you a whole mess of them. Here's a whole mess of them real quick, and it's still kind of fun. It's a fun song. Also, before I let you go, look what you can do. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Make it really sad that the sailor is drunk. Again, same thing we talked about earlier in book 1, just this here. A lot of times on ukulele, because you have this high string here, I will start, instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a lot of times I will just put my thumb on the C string. Can you see that? Index and middle. Just use those 3. 1, 2, 3, and then come back to your middle string finger. And we go back to your index finger. Thumb, index, middle, index, thumb, index, middle, index. So we have lots of 2-chord stuff, guys. And no matter whether you're book 1 or book 2, this is the 2-chord week. It's actually lovely that they happened at the same time, because we're going to talk a lot about technique. When you only have 2 chords to deal with, we'll talk a lot about technique. Okay, and what we can do to take those 2 chords and turn them into something. Once you can do it with 2 chords, you can do it with 100 chords, right? All right, sorry about the sound system. It was working great, and then, I don't know. You saw, I didn't touch nothing. All right, so you've got a good week ahead of you. Lots of fun 2-chord songs on the strumming book. If you want to peek ahead to the 3-chord songs, you can, because that's what we will start looking at next week. And then I will add in the next celebration song off the website. I don't know right off the top of my head what it is. It will be for He's a Jolly Good Fellow will be our next book 2 song. So we go from Sakura Sakura, which I wanted to play just because there's a new arrangement and it's really hard, down to some much easier pieces. For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, though, it has a lot of cool techniques that we get to put in there. So glad you guys are here, and keep an eye on your email. It'll come out Saturday or Sunday about, reminding you of stuff. During the week, just play what makes you happy, but spend a little bit of time on our lesson. And if you need to remind yourself of stuff and come back to the video, I posted over on the video page. And I'm trying to I'm doing a ton of stuff in the back shop on YouTube to try to make it make more sense. And I'm failing, but we'll keep at it. So really good to see all you guys. Thanks for being here, and we'll wrap it up for tonight. And tomorrow night we have more Beatles. And so those of you guys that are more advanced players, well, you don't even need to be a more advanced player. You just have to be a member of Jolly Roger, which is super cheap. You would just sign up for the website, and then you go get the sheet music out of the member section. And we're adding in Here Comes the Sun, which people love, and so it should be fun to take a look at that and get started on that again. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. If you're anywhere in the world where it's freezing you out, stay warm, and I will talk to you all next week. Peace.